Your multi-tool?
I don't know. I'm doing a video right now. I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's probably in my pink thing down there.
Okay, well.
I would look down there.
Okay, I'll just go grab it.
Anyway, sorry guys. Howdy, howdy, howdy. He waits until he knows. Just like a kid would. That I just started. And I always warn him that I'm going to start my video now. And then... Anyway, it is June 25th, 2016, Saturday evening. It is 5:54 p.m. Thought I would hop on here and make a real quick video before we cook dinner. Did I tell you guys at 5:54 p.m.? I don't know. It's been very hot out today. It is 93 degrees. Real feel is 105. The high was 93. The low will be 75, like everybody else. So, you know, and I know it's a very hot summer across the board for all of us. You know, stay indoors, stay hydrated, make sure that you check on your pets. You know, if you have them, whether just outdoors. Your pets, your elderly, you know, especially elderly people that are really on a very fixed income. Where I know there were summers before where they had some of the New York, in some of the New York apartments where there was some elderly people that died because, you know, they don't want to raise up their electric bill, of course, you know, on a fixed income, and so they basically, you know, would die of heat stroke. So, we're managing. Brad kind of redid the sunshades we have in the front window. So they're all kind of joined together because our cat keeps knocking them down. Because she was laying on the sunshades themselves. Now, we see you, Brad. Now it's hot enough that she's not laying up there. She's laying them back with Jasper. Yes, Angel is finally laying on the same bed as Jasper. Can you make me some iced tea, huh?
Okay.
And, he redid the, sunshades up there. We pulled curtain around the one side because it comes. What side is it? What direction is it?
This is south, so that's east side.
Okay, so the south and the east side of our RV, the way it's parked, get the bulk of the sun, and so, you know, like everybody else around here, we're trying to combat the heat without jacking up. I mean, ours is already high enough. We paid $85 this month for electricity, which I know a lot of you are going, wow, I wish I was just paying that. Well, but we're in a 30-foot RV too, so, you know. It probably would be higher, but we're parked at a 30 amp even though we're 50. So we can't run both ACs because it trips the trigger. Probably a good thing, though. Because...
But, you know, I've talked to people down in Arizona.
Yeah.
That during the hot of the summer, their electricity bills run over $400.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I've heard of other people like a couple $100s and stuff right now. So, you know, we're lucky, but that wasn't something we were prepared for, because being from a cold weather state. Anyway, I did some looming. Finally got smart to putting it in a bag. When you're working on a project, I know it's not a fancy bag, but it works for me. They're free. When you're working on a project, you know, and you gotta put it up or whatever, then it can get really snagged and tangled. But anyway, this is still this wrap scarf, you know. So I'm almost done with it. So working on that. I'll probably finish it up later tonight. I'm working on, I painted and did the background and one layer of paint on 4 different paintings. And I'm not going to show those because it's just the background. I'll show you when I get, I'm going to finish a couple of them up tonight. I was playing with that iridescent medium that Angie sent me. That was a lot of fun. I found I like it best using it kind of alone right over the top of a color. Unless you want just a slight little hint of a shimmer. I want kind of a more of a wow effect on what I'm painting. I worked on that. And Brad went fishing. And I'll have him tell you in a moment about that. Really finding I'm really enjoying the painting more and more. I don't know, I hesitated for a long time on doing the painting and stuff, for a very long time. I don't know, I just felt like maybe I couldn't do it. But okay. Brad went fishing last night. He went down there, about 7:30 or so?
Yeah, it was about 7:30.
Having a great time. I'll let you tell him about it.
Well, I was fishing, got down to the pier, and for the most part, I was the only one out there. And then these 2 teenage boys showed up. And, of course, typical teenagers, they knew everything, they've done everything. But then all of a sudden, a whole herd of kids showed up. And,
you forgot about Grandpa.
Oh, yeah. First off, I forgot about Grandpa. First, this kid showed up with Grandpa. And this kid was using a weighted jig. And he was casting. He got bored with that. He was seeing me catching fish using bait. And so I offered, I said, hey, I've got hooks and sinkers here. If you want to re-rig and you can use some of my bait. And first thing, could I, Grandpa? And, Grandpa didn't want to bother re-rigging his line, so he made the kid just put bait on the jig and throw it out there. And then the kid told his grandpa, and the kid was maybe 10, 12 years old. Kid told his grandpa, you can go back in. And, here this kid is with 3 complete strangers, and I didn't realize that Grandpa eventually took off, leaving this kid out on the pier. And, this kid kept crossing up on my lines and everything, and I was trying to be nice. And then next thing is there's this lady came out with 3 or 4 other kids, and the youngest one was about 3, and she wasn't watching them at all, and they were getting into, I had one little section of rail where I had my knife, my cut bait, and I had to get after the kids to quit playing with that. And
they were digging through his bait. Yeah.
And and then there's these 3 early teen girls that think they're just supermodels, and they come out there and they're being so noisy, and they're going all over the place and swarming and performing.
That's what I call it.
And you got all these kids under 15, and the 2 teenage boys, they were probably 14, 15, 16, but you got all these kids under 15, and there's only 1 adult out there because Grandpa took off, and I never saw him.
I can't believe that man left his grandson with a complete stranger. What if Brad had been a pedophile?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just like, it's like so many other times I've seen, these people don't teach their kids manners. They don't supervise their kids like they should. So why is that?
Brad finally gave up and came in.
Yeah. Finally about 9:30, I just backed
he was pissed, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
If you don't want to watch your kids, then don't push your kids on somebody else to have us have to put up with your kids or your grandchildren because you don't want to watch them.
Yeah.
It's like, and the way kids are, I would have never have, first of all, I wouldn't have stayed there with strangers anyway. But I would never have pulled the crap, and neither would my husband that a lot of these kids pull these days. You know. Right, honey?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I just wanted to tell a story. Are you done telling your story now?
I'm done telling my
We
story.
kind of lost you there, babe.
I did.
Yeah. So today, our neighbor, Carl, lives next door. Real nice guy. Single older guy. Came over with a dozen of eggs, and these are big eggs. And somebody, I don't know if he bought them or if somebody gave them to him, maybe his girlfriend did. He brought us over a dozen eggs, fresh stuff, which was really, really nice of him. And he stood there and he talked to us for a while about fishing and whatnot. Of course, you know, I out there first thing in the morning, don't have a bra on. I didn't have my dentures in. Didn't have my hair combed a bit. That's when you're going to talk to people, right? It's just like if your house is a wreck, when you're going to get people stopping over. But he'll never know how much that meant. I am a very, very shy person. And I think some of you are guessing that because some of you are like, you know, have wanted to call and chat with me, and I'm not trying to put you off because I don't like you or anything. I'm just a very shy person. Number one, I truly don't like to talk on the phone. My husband can tell you that. You very rarely see me talk on the phone, right, honey? And, you know, and even then, it's not very often and stuff because I find it takes up too much of my time. But I am very shy. But then I get, as a drawback of that is I get where I'm so withdrawn and stuff that I'm not really communicating with anybody but Brad, and, you know, so you kind of lose some of your social skills, and you kind of think that nobody likes you and nobody wants to talk to you and stuff. So him stopping over, first of all, I wasn't quite awake, so it wasn't near as bad. You know how somebody sometimes will surprise you with something, you don't have time to get all anxious about it. Well, I wasn't. So yeah, I didn't have time to get upset, get worked up or anything. It was a nice conversation. He's a nice guy. He's the one that's given us pallets before. I've given him like a loaf of banana nut bread and stuff, you know. But they sure is nice to have some nice neighbors and stuff. They're much friendlier than they ever were where we used to live in bar none. So, but besides that, because of the heat and the humidity, and because it is way too peoply out in this park right now, we just been staying indoors, even Brad, because, like he said, this place is swarming with a lot of kids and a lot of unsupervised kids right now, it seems, because the parents and grandparents rather send these kids off, you know, because they're like, go away, you bother me. Well, we don't want your kids bothering us either. But, like I said, don't get me wrong, I love kids. I worked in different daycares, have my own and stuff. But I like it when they behave. You know, kind of like nobody likes that barking dog. We like it when our dogs are well behaved too. But, we're going to be having a big family reunion in this pavilion right across from us here. So, like I said, it's very peoply out, which it always is on the weekend. And this area of Florida is known for the summer vacations. Especially this area is a little cooler than down the peninsula and stuff. So, you know, a lot of people from that area will come up here. So we just kind of laying low, and we do every afternoon anyway, and until the heat starts to drop down a little bit, then everybody starts to come outdoors again. I don't know if I'm going to paint outside tonight. I kind of talked to my husband about it a little bit. I'm not sure if I will or not. I think he's going to go over, the guys always play poker on Saturday night in the pavilion. and Carl is one of them, and stuff. And Brad's not really a poker player. Plus, we don't have the money for him to
lose.
We don't have any money. But he said, he might go over there and watch. So it'll be good for him just to enjoy the milk company and stuff. I know he misses that, and when you have worked all these years, it is kind of hard to all of a sudden major change in life for him too. He just is not as vocal about stuff as I am. And then we're gonna have Jill had some had cooked up a whole bunch of chicken right before we left Wyoming, and had taken all the meat off of it and put them in individual bags. Well, we're down to, I think, our last bag, or maybe we have one more after this. But I'm going to make Spanish rice with some chicken in it for dinner. So, that's about all that's really going on. I'm just eager to play with my paint and kick out a couple more stuff. I'm starting to get discouraged. I have to admit that, as I have, I think, 38 listings right now on Etsy, and nobody's really, I've had a couple of orders, but besides that, nobody's really buying anything, and that's hard, especially when you're an artist, because it's like, everybody's saying how much they love these pieces and stuff, but nobody's buying any, and quite frankly, for me to buy more canvas and paint, I need people to start buying some more paintings, because artist supplies are not cheap. But I think I'm going to do some painting on canvas paper. Number one, that's going to be cheaper to ship. It's always a bonus for everybody. And I can cut those to exact sizes I want, which will be very nice. They can be shipped that way. They can be framed however the person who's getting it wants. So, I think that's what I'm going to do is mess with some of that after I finish these paintings. I like working on the smaller size paintings I've found. The bigger ones, because even with my artwork, I don't like to spend a long time on a piece. I used to like to work really big. Even in when I was in college and stuff, I like to do most of my work at a pretty big size. Now I'm getting with the painting and stuff, because I like to do the minute details and stuff. Is one of my favorites. And even when I used to do commercial art, I always had to kind of restrain myself, because I always want to really detail everything out. And if you detail a picture or a drawing or a painting out too much, it takes away from whatever product you're trying to sell. You want that product to be the main focal point. So, but on this, with the smaller ones and stuff, I can really get in detail, which I really like to do. So anyway, I'll be working on that. And I've got one piece, it's a black piece with a light reversal on it, which I love doing that. And then 3 other ones are kind of like beach nature scenes, so you guys know I like doing that too. So that's about all I really got going on. And I'm going to finish up this scarf shoulder wrap and get that in the mail. If you guys watch The Neighbors, they have a channel here. Please send your condolences and well wishes. Val's father passed away yesterday morning at 2 a.m. And at least he's out of pain and stuff. And so I cried when I saw it, because it was just sad. He was a very, very nice man. He always went by the name The Lone Wolf. Very nice man, very nice family, really pulled together and stuff. And no matter how much you prepare yourself, it's hard when you lose a loved one to cancer or anything. So, yeah, pop on over there, give your condolences, or they also have Facebook page called The Neighbors also. So, I know that Val could really use that. So, Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. And yes, a shorter vlog. Aren't you guys glad? Remember that I love you guys and I cherish your friendship. And I think you're awesome. Say bye, Brad.
Bye, Brad.
Bye.